Achilles heel of the human species, at the very foundation of the type of beings that we are, is ignorance. And by definition, ignorance is lack of knowledge. It is that ignorance that is being attacked and capitalized on. People who are here who have been studying humans and how to pull all this off. Humans are taking advantage of us, their minds, it's their knowledge, they're capitalized on their ignorance. How is it that we as a species have not become aware of this key vulnerability and how we are being attacked in these areas that we are ignorant and not spending the time to educate ourselves? We are a species that's capable of intelligence. We have intelligence, we just have to feed it, grow it. We're capable of logic, deductive reasoning, and all that other stuff. How in the hell is it that as an intelligent, sentient species, we have not figured out about ourselves where we are the most vulnerable, that are the very places in which we have been attacked for time immemorial? It's ignorance. We're born blank slates. It's our lack of understanding of ourselves as a species and where we are vulnerable, where we are weak. The human being is born a blank slate. We are white, or we're just blank, or both. Therefore, we must be taught. This is why the human child is born with its mind in the theta state for the first 7 years. And the wicked people on the planet know about this. Give me a child till it's 7 years old and I will give you the man, says the Jesuit priest. We need to be taught everything. It's part of growing, learning. Some of it is being taught, some of it is feeding your mind with your own efforts. But because we are born ignorant, we must be taught everything. Whether it's interdimensional beings, aliens, wicked men, whatever category of being that exists that is currently and has been attacking humans. In all of the myriad of ways our species has endured the barrage of shit we've endured. And when we are ignorant, we completely do not know. And in that state, it is virtually impossible to obtain or to have the eyes to see when you are being lied to, manipulated, led. Those that control the world, the Jews that have created Hollywood and the media mechanism and television and all the digital stuff to give us all the eye candy, to keep us distracted and unconcerned about developing ourselves as beings. Let's keep you entertained, let's keep you distracted, occupied. So everybody will be stoned, stupid, apathetic, and wanting to be entertained by their television or electronic device. Yet the being that is in that state, and look at what's happening to it, look at what's happening to it, and in that single context, span that out to the whole planet, and how many people are in that place. These people on this planet are taking advantage of the ignorance of the human species. They're taking advantage of the very vulnerabilities that we as a species are unaware of because we don't know ourselves. Know thyself. There's a reason for that. Look at the vulnerabilities in us as a human species that are being capitalized upon by these evil people. Our perception is being controlled, manipulated, crafted for us. How the hell could that happen if we're intelligent beings? Because we're ignorant. Because we don't know. Because, well, there it is. Because we're ignorant, we don't know. And in that state, we're easily led. We're easily manipulated. We're gullible. This is not rocket science. This is just sitting and contemplating, well, where are they capitalizing on us? Where have humans always been vulnerable throughout history? What have the evil ruling elites always done? And you start to see the patterns of where they start to manipulate us through mind, through ignorance, through any of the aspects of the human species that are vulnerable, weak, they're not focused on. It's like, wow, when you start looking at this, it's kind of interesting that, well, hey, there's that whole negative side of all these evil pricks doing all this evil shit, attacking us humans on all of our vulnerable weaknesses, and they're doing a really goddamn good job of it. And they're turning our world upside down. They're making our lives sadder. But on the flip side of that coin, it's like, holy shit. If we could just recognize this as a species and begin to do the work on ourselves that's necessary for these fucks not to be able to capitalize on the myriad of vulnerabilities and weaknesses within us as a species, take responsibility for figuring out what we are, doing something about our weaknesses. I mean, how easy is it for them to manipulate the perception of the entirety of the world in our current state? Meaning the television, the media, and just think about how easy it is for them to have done what it is they've done. How are they doing this to us? How is it so easy for them? Some spiritual forces using the evil on this planet. We're going to keep poking those wounds and attacking those vulnerabilities. Pull your heads out of your asses, learn a little bit about yourselves, start protecting and developing those aspects of yourselves, grow yourselves as human beings, and watch your species evolve, and you'll no longer be led like chattel slaves, kept like chattel slaves, manipulated, deceived as easily, led like cattle, corralled, manipulated, and all that shit. It's like, When are we gonna wake up to some of this shit? Because I'm not a fucking genius. I'm an average dude, just with a reflective, kind of thinking, processing mind. I'm just using the faculties that whatever it was that put me here gave me. This is relatively easy to see. And I'm just a human that's bringing my piece, or the pieces that I see, to bear in these monologues for those that are looking for their own puzzle pieces. And you sit with this shit and see how it resonates within you. There's a lot for us to know about ourselves. How the hell is it that for as long as we've walked this earth, as a whole, as a collective, we haven't recognized this? Mind, knowledge, perception. It's clear when you look at some of these things like Pythagoras and people who lived long ago. There were some real smart people here before. Know thyself, humans. Know thyselves. And until you do, look at what's happening to you. Look at what's happening to the planet. Do you believe that this would be able to happen to us if we did not know ourselves, protect our vulnerabilities, and strengthen our weaknesses? I mean, think about it. The little 120-pound pencil-neck pipsqueak can hit the gym and eat right for a year, and he gets big. He hits it for 2 years. He's fucking, like, ripped in diesel. He's in there for 3 years, and he's like this massive motherfucker, and he started as a pencil-neck pipsqueak. The work you gotta put in to strengthen the muscles. When are we, as the proverbial pencil-neck pipsqueaks, going to get into the gym with an awareness where we are weak and begin to strengthen ourselves? A healthy existence and kind of purge our own toxins from the body of humanity. Just as in the microcosmic aspect of your body, it has some mechanisms in it to purge toxins. When you really get down to it, people, we either do this shit or we die. We either do this shit that I'm talking about here. Know thyselves, understand, comprehend what you are, how you were engineered, and where the weaknesses that were built into you, for better or for worse, for benevolent purposes or malevolent purposes, doesn't make a difference. They exist. And until we decide to do something to protect and to strengthen the vulnerabilities and weaknesses in us as individuals, which ties into the body of humanity, we're going to be the pencil-neck geek, pipsqueak. This is our problem. We're the pencil-neck pipsqueaks, right? And the bullies are all around us kicking our fucking asses. And all we would have to do is take a sledgehammer to our TVs, begin to educate ourselves, learn about ourselves, spend some time doing some work. Not that hard when you really think about it and talk it out. Basic Human 101. Human 101. This should be kindergarten. Do something about it. I can't do your push-ups. You can't do my push-ups. I can't do your bench press. You can't do mine. You want the chest, you want the traps, you want the back arm. You gotta do the push-up. Take it easy, people.